Boston. 2 minutes left here in the first half. Sam Hauser steals the inbound pass, feeds Jason Tatum alone on the break, and he throws down the slam. Tatum with 21 points in the first half. That's his most in a first half this season. Late third quarter, Celtics up by 23 at this point. Inbound pass to Jaylen Brown in the corner, and he hits the catch and shoot three as the Celtics go on to win game one of this series against the Philadelphia 76ers. 123-91 is your final score. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown both went off today. Over 25 points for each of them. Boston gets it done in game one. For much more on this, let's go ahead and bring in our own John Gonzalez for more. John, pure just dominance from Boston all around today. What were your takeaways as an unfortunate Sixers fan?
Sixers follower. Let's not use the fan word and throw that around. Unfortunately, I've been saddled with watching that team my whole life. Let's talk about the Celtics, who are actually a good team. And what my takeaways were, they're just so much better than the Sixers, right? I picked the Celtics to win this series in a sweep. And you saw what happened in game one. That's why. I mean, Jason Tatum was phenomenal today, had 25-point double-double, throwing 7 assists, a couple of steals, played 32 minutes. This is a guy who missed 10 months with an Achilles injury, does not look like it. And the Celtics, Jordan, were already a good team before he came back. Jaylen Brown, he also had a good game. He goes for 26 points. Again, smattering of rebounds, some assists, a couple of steals, 30 minutes. I mean, the Sixers had absolutely no answer for either of those guys. And in a game where Derek White didn't even play that well, where some of their other players like Nehemias Queta was fine, Hauser and Pritchard were fine. The bench, they didn't even need to go deep into the bench. The Celtics are infinitely deeper than the Sixers, and the Sixers' top-line talent, when you don't have Joel Embiid, they're in a lot of trouble. Even when they have Joel Embiid, I don't think that they'd even get a game off of this team. So, yeah, the Celtics are marching on sooner than later. You mentioned it, Jason Tatum put up almost 30 points in this one, his first playoff game. When you look back at really his journey and that Achilles injury that you mentioned, what's been most impressive? Just how good he looks physically coming back, because the shots sometimes can desert him. Even when he was previously healthy, he could be a streaky shooter, but he does so many other things on the court well, and to do those things well, you have to move well, and Achilles is obviously a very tricky injury. It usually takes a year to come back. He comes back in 10 months, and he doesn't look like he had an Achilles injury at all. He's running the floor really well. He's rebounding well. The passing has been fantastic, and then that defense, that's what really sets him apart, Jordan, and it's the reason why he's a perennial first-team All-NBA selection when he's healthy. He can guard anybody in the league 1 through 5, so it just really levels up the entire Celtics team. And to have him back, I thought that they would have been contenders in the East if he had not come back at all. That's how good they were playing, and that's what a great job Joe Mazzulla did with less. He really gets a lot out of that team, but then you add him in, and man, they're the favorites in the East for me. Yeah, you mentioned this was already a good team before Tatum came back from his injury. Currently the favorites to win the East. Looking at this group as a whole, you saw the dynamic duo between him and Jaylen Brown. Are you confident that this is a team that can go on to win the championship? Win the championship? No, I have them in the finals. I have them losing to the Nuggets, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did win it all. They're the favorites in the East for a reason, and if they get to the finals, they could beat anybody. But I would still probably have whoever comes out of the West to beat them in the finals. But still, even getting to the finals this season, Jordan, when I thought, and a lot of people thought, that they were going to take a step back when Tatum blows out his Achilles, and then in the offseason, Brad Stevens dismantled the previous championship roster. He got rid of Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Luke Cornett, and you're thinking, man, they're definitely going to take a step back, but they didn't, because that organization is so well run. In contrast to the Sixers, they do more with less, right? Joe Mazzulla goes and takes a guy like Nehemias Queta, who was a role player, and elevates him to a critical starter. Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard, on any other team, I'm not sure that they are as good and as vital and as crucial to the winning prospects of the Celtics as they are on Boston. And then, a guy like Baylor Shireman, I think he'd probably be, non-Joel Embiid division, the third best player if you put him on the Sixers, which is ridiculous because he's just a rotation guy. So credit to the Celtics. They're really, really good up and down the roster. All right, let's focus on the Sixers now. What is most glaring after this blowout loss? Yeah, the answer is yes. This was one of those teams where I was hoping they were going to crash out of the play-in because they owe a top 4 protected pick to Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City has a zillion picks, right? The chances of them keeping that pick had they crashed out of the play-in were less than like 3%. I thought that was preferable to whatever this is, where they're going to get swept by the Celtics. And I don't think that this serves them well. I don't think it serves Maxey well or VJ Edgecombe. Maybe VJ gets a little bit of playoff experience. That's fine, but they're going to get swept here. And really, the only bright spots on that team are Maxey and Edgecombe. They did not come to play today. From the opening tip, they just got run off that floor. Jordan, they had more than 3 times as many turnovers as they had made threes. That's not good, right? I mean, like, even when Joel Embiid is out there, I don't think that this is a particularly good team. PG, he hasn't looked like the max money player the contract that they gave him. So this is a going home situation for the Sixers.
Ooh, all right, well, game 2, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Before we let you go, this game was in Boston at about 3 minutes left in this game. We heard Boston fans chanting, "We want Boston." Can you explain why?
Yeah, so when the Sixers were beating the Orlando Magic in the play-in, Sixers fans, and I think most of them were knowingly doing it as a tongue-in-cheek thing, but they were chanting, "We want Boston," right? And so Boston cleverly today was chanting it back at them as sort of a troll. I think Sixers fans were kind of in on the joke on that because everybody knows that the Sixers do not beat Boston in the postseason. They have not beaten the Celtics in the postseason since 1982. There's a Philadelphia sports writer who tweeted this out. He said that the Sixers haven't beaten Boston in a series without having either Wilt Chamberlain or Dr. J on the roster, and neither of those guys are available in this series. So very clever there. Shouts to Bob Vitrone Jr. I don't think that that's going to change in this series, Jordan.
No, I fear there may be some more trolling to come. That's for sure. Unfortunate for you, my friend. John Gonzalez joining us here for our post-game coverage on CBS Sports HQ. A dominant Game 1 victory from Boston. A busy weekend, by the way, in Boston. So 1 down, a few more to go. The Red Sox in action today. The Bruins in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Not in Boston, but in Buffalo. That should be a good one in the Boston Marathon tomorrow. Here's a look at what's on tap beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We will have all full highlights for you of all these games here on HQ, and then of course our nightcap at 9 p.m. This Celtics though and 76ers matchup at the left hand side of your screen, well, it's among the most frequent playoff series matchup all time. We've seen these two teams actually square off in the postseason 23 times, with Boston winning 6 straight series dating back to the 1985 Eastern Conference Finals. So how can they keep the dominance going tonight, and how can the 76ers snap this streak? Let's go ahead and find out as we welcome in our own Ashley Nicole Moss for more. Ashley, great to see you. Let's start with this game at 1 p.m. The Celtics, as we know, traded off key pieces of their championship team this season, but they're still a top 2 seed in the East. Should we expect Boston to make quick work of the 76ers, especially without Joel Embiid?
I wouldn't say quick because, again, we don't really know what the status of Joel Embiid is just yet. There have been rumblings that he may or may not be able to return for this series. Obviously, we would know if he was going to be able to play for Game 1, so you can take that out of the mix. But the jury is still out on whether or not we'll see Joel Embiid at all. Even without Joel Embiid, though, I do think that the 76ers will make the Celtics work. As we know, they are a scrappy team. They're a young team. They've been able to stay afloat even without Joel Embiid in the way that you would want him present, right? He's had some ins and outs throughout the season, but he hasn't been a dominant force, a constant force that you would expect or would you want him to be in order to really put money on the 76ers. The Boston Celtics should win this series. Again, this is without Joel Embiid being in the picture, so we're going to have the conversation as if he's not playing. With no Joel Embiid, the Boston Celtics, should be able to win this series, but I don't think it's going to be easy for them. Obviously, we do know one of the Achilles heels of the Boston Celtics is they shoot a lot of three-pointers. They take a lot. They average around 45 to 50 attempts per game. That's a lot of threes. And if you go back to the series they had against my New York Knicks, the reason the Knicks were able to get a 2-1 or 2-0 and then ultimately a 3-0 head on those Celtics in that series is because they chose to live and die by the three. I'm interested to see if Joe Mazzulla changes that game plan or he sticks to it because that's just the Boston Celtics way. But if you ask me overall picture, I do think the Boston Celtics, without an appearance from Joel Embiid, should be able to pull this out in maybe 5 or 6 games.
All right, we'll find out soon enough as they tip off at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Let's head out west now as the Thunder begin their title defense against the Suns, who they actually matched up well